Hello everyone, this is Tony with TerraSky, and today we're going to show you how to change your object references. Now, what does this mean? Whenever you create a Visualforce page, you will reference fields and objects based on the API names. And in the past, when pages have been created with SkyVisualEditor, you would create a design and it would be based on one primary object, and you would have several fields that are listed on the page for you to edit and work with. Well, if you liked that design of the page and you wanted to use it for a different object, that wasn't possible. You had to completely start a new page from scratch or import a layout and build it again for that new object. So what we've done is we now are going to allow you to change the object references so that you can essentially create templates or reusable formats once you create a layout that you would like to use across several objects in your organization. This works well for documents that you may want to create, or if you're an implementation partner and you have several clients that have common themes amongst pages that they like to design. However you see fit, you can reuse these pages now. So how do we actually get this done? Well, first you want to find a page that you like the existing layout enough to want to change over the object. So let's make a couple of changes just so you can understand how this works. At the top, I'll make this a black color banner. We'll add a third column in and move a field over just for show. This bottom section here will change to a green, and we'll leave that as is. Now let's say that we really like that color and a 3-column view at the top, and we want to reuse this page for the account object. Now I should point out that the page that we're currently looking at is bound to the opportunity object. And you can find this out by looking at the page property section on the right hand side. The very first property at the top is called object name, and then it will show you which object this page is primarily associated with. Now this means that every field we're looking at on the page is either directly related to an opportunity or is some kind of lookup relationship or master detail relationship with the opportunity. All of your related lists and data tables, they are directly related to this object in the top right. So now that we have this field in the top right called object name, we can go ahead and click the pencil, and this will allow us to change the primary object associated with this Visualforce page. I'm now going to choose the account, and it's going to rebuild this page with the account as the new primary object. You're going to notice there are several errors that appear on the page. This is to be expected. And the reason this is to be expected is that the fields that exist on an opportunity do not always exist on the account. A great example is there is not an amount field on the account by default. If you've created a custom field for both of them, that's fine. You'll be able to translate that back and forth. But if there's not a direct match between the two objects, you'll get an error and then a listing down at the bottom as to what could not be translated. So there are things such as the account description that can be matched up with the opportunity description because they both use .description to reference the field. However, if we take a look at the error down at the bottom that says field amount is not found in the account object, that field is right here at the top. There is not an amount field for the account object. There's typically a annual revenue field or something of that nature, but not necessarily an opportunity amount to be referenced. So there are a couple of ways that we can fix this. First, let's focus on the related list because I think that's something that's really simple to grasp. So we can scroll down, and at the bottom you'll see that there are several related lists that we have that just don't have direct matches to the account. For example, opportunity contact roles doesn't make sense to have associated with the account. So you get an error and it doesn't yet exist for this object, so it's simply there and you need to remove it. So you can scroll down, find the related list, and drag it off of the canvas to remove that error. And if you notice, there's no longer that error that's on the page. And you can do the same thing for the rest of these that say error to remove those fatal warnings. Next, we need to look at the data tables that exist on the page. There are two ways that you can solve data tables that have errors. The first of which is to simply remove the data table entirely, so I can just drag that off the canvas and that will remove one of the errors. Or you can select the data table and change the object reference to something that matches up with this new account that I've referenced. On the right hand side, there's a property called object label. It's near the top. It's the third one from the top. Go ahead and click the ellipsis for this. It's going to give you a window that allows you to select a new object to reference that is associated with the primary one. So I'm going to go ahead and choose contact because it's a very common object to reference when you're working with an account. And if you notice, you'll then have to go in and change the name of the page block section as well as the different columns. So you'll fix that as you go as well. Now let's tackle the fields that have produced errors. Again, there are two ways you can handle this. You can either drag the error field off of the canvas, or if you like where it is and you simply want to re-reference it with a new field that exists for the account, you can select a field. In this case, this was the old opportunity amount field. And on the right-hand side, it's the fourth property from the top called field. Go ahead and click the ellipsis for this, and this will now show you the different fields that are available for the new primary object. You can do a couple of things here. You can either search for, as an example, revenue, for me to find the annual revenue here, and then you can select this field and it will now re-reference it properly at the top, removing the error and also placing in the new account field for you to work with. Another option is if I select this date field and choose to edit this, there are several properties at the top that you can use to filter fields to quickly find what you need. I have a date field selected here, so one thing that I can do is to click the calendar icon and it will show me only the date fields that exist for this particular object. So if you notice, there aren't any. However, if I select a pick list, you'll see that this shows me only fields that have the pick list category to it. So this is a very fast way to find the fields that you need if you don't happen to know the name and you just know that it's a particular kind of field that you're looking for. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.